So let's take a look at Anchor in a SharePoint environment. I'm going to come to the end of one of my files in the SharePoint web experience. I'm going to choose Open with Anchor and show you it's just exactly like the experience you're used to inside of SharePoint. But we get a lot of more powerful options. Not only can data not be stolen out of SharePoint by outsiders or insiders, but I can also easily share with third parties. So I'm going to come back to the Anchor menu and choose Share with Anchor. And I can choose to share with somebody who's not in my organization or not in Anchor entirely. So I'm going to enable sharing. I'm going to choose how I'd like to share. In this case, I'm going to allow the person to co-edit with me. I'm going to choose a date for the expiration of this link, how I'd like to share it. I'm going to choose restricted access, which allows me to specify an email address that's going to be multi-factor authenticated on the other end by sending the person an OTP code. I just save and copy, and that's it. Now let's look at the third-party experience. So what does it look like for the third party? Well, I got an email with a link. So I just click the link to open the file. It brings me up to the Anchor webpage. I have to type in the email address that was used to share the file with me. If I use another email address, this simply won't work. It's going to send me a one-time passcode, a form of multi-factor authentication to validate I am who I say I am. And so I put that in, I validate it. I'm going to choose whether I want to just view it or co-edit it with the person who shared with me. So I'm going to choose co-edit to show you those powerful tools. And indeed, it's just the same experience as the SharePoint user did. I can click here and see that we're both in the file. And, I can edit. I'm going to add another spreadsheet, modify some of the data. If I switch back to the user that actually shared the file, log in, I see, oh, there's the third party I shared it with is in there with me on this file. Switching back to that third party experience also, you can see I don't have the ability to save as, I don't have the ability to download. I can't copy paste data out of the secure share. So I just tried to copy it, just pasted my OTP back in again. I'm going to try and copy everything out of the spreadsheet. Again, just pasted the OTP. So in addition to a very simple, very secure way to share, you also get the digital chain of custody with Anchor. So I'm going to open Show File Access Logs here. Every single transaction on a file is logged from the moment it's been anchored. So you see at the top I have auto anchor, and everything down to the last co-edits I made a second ago, both as an internal user and as a third-party user, are logged on the file. Simply put, if it's not in that digital chain of custody, it did not happen, giving you definitive logs. Now, what about when you're done sharing and you want to revoke access? Go back to the Anchor Share menu. Easy as disabling, hitting that toggle switch, saving the file, and that access has been revoked for that user. That works great, but what if you're working locally and not in the SharePoint web experience? Well, here I have the same folder mapped in my OneDrive, and I just double-click the Excel file, just like you're used to. That file opens, no problems. You see the latest changes are in here. And that's a positive experience for those inside of our organization that are authorized and we want to be able to access data in this manner. But what about those we don't want to have access to our data? So, such as external bad actors that have gained access to our SharePoint site, or internal people who should not have access as well. Well, I'm going to switch to our other environment here, and then I'm going to download the file to the desktop. Download the file to the desktop. I'm from an unauthorized device. I'm an unauthorized user. I double click the Excel file and open it, and you see it doesn't open. I simply don't have access. But though it might appear like they've actually got the goods, they have nothing. So if I open this with Notepad and show you, we can see inside of the file it's only ciphertext because the data is protected at all times when it is anchored. Anchor makes data theft irrelevant.